Yo YouTube! This is my video for Friday the 12th of September, and it's now about 10 or quarter to 8, 7:45, and I've got about an hour still to go to get to my pickup, which is in Little Walsingham in Norfolk. When I left the house at 7:15, it was saying, Google Maps was saying it was an hour and a half away. It actually isn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I thought it'd be more like 3 hour and 3/4. It's around about 50 miles, 50, and I'm picking up a single pallet to take to Hull at a long wheelbase van job. The loaded miles is 135, and I've got this job for £180, 180. And so I'm really pleased with it. I think Little Walsingham is something I wouldn't really have thought about, but there was a couple of jobs that came out of there yesterday afternoon, and I thought I'd give it a go at a price that I'd be happy with. Basically, the price, I priced this at a very simple calculation. I worked out how long it would take me to get from home to Little Walsingham to Hull, and it's about just under 5 hours, that whole job, whole work. And then I thought, if I can do it for 180, which is 6 hours worth of work, then that would probably make it worthwhile, and it would mean that I would be in a decent place to get a second job. I don't mind being around the Hull area, and it would mean that I would, if things went a bit wrong with loading and unloading, I still covered my time. And the diesel's pretty negligible, probably about 20 quid for that sort of trip. So it's not like, it's mainly the time is the issue. I need to cover diesel. So because I arrange my finances, well, I keep a track of my business costs and my income after fuel, then mainly I need to concern myself about how much do I earn per hour to try and make my target. Whether I have to drive 100 miles or 10 miles is kind of irrelevant to me, as long as I cover the time that it takes me to do that job. And you can't always do that with certain jobs. Sometimes you have to base it on other factors. But generally, if I'm going to go for a whole day's work, if I plan it as being £30 per hour over a 10-hour period, then it generally gets me where I want to be in terms of the amount of money. And I know how much of that I get to keep because of my calculation with fuel, and I know at the end of the week how much of that money I get to keep because of my business costs. So it really does feel like I've got a good control over the financial side of this job. It's just a question of whether my health and my sort of ability to judge correctly the bidding gets me the right amount of money. So I think for a lot of people, they tend to guess the costs, sort of do it a bit more by vibes or by I'll assign it what I think it'll be. I just couldn't work like that. I have to know how much I'm spending. I'm not saying that I do it a better way, it's just the way it works for me. I could not run a business like this, which is basically just I could not work in an industry like this without knowing very clearly what all the costs are. It's quite specifically, quite accurately, per day, per week, per month, per year. And that works for me, and it gives me some security. And I know at the end of the day, I'm trying to be sustainable, which is get my van repaired and replaced, and trying to be earn a living. And that's all I've got to try and do. As long as I can earn a living that works for me, and I can keep doing that until I retire, that's the only 2 factors I need to account for when it comes to how I sort of earn money on doing this job. And we all have different priorities about how we want to do this job. But for someone like myself, I'm very clear as to what I'm trying to do, how I'm going to do it, and just a question of then implementing that. Right, I shall update you when I'm in Hull as to what's going on there. My guess would be, because it's a Friday, because of where Hull is, because of my experience of Hull, that I'll get a pretty decent longish job, probably going across the country to the northwest is my guess. But I couldn't go anywhere from there. I'll probably try and avoid going. No, I was going to say I'll try and avoid going to the northeast. No, I won't try and avoid that. If I get the right money for it, I'll get to the northeast and just drive back dead. I don't care. I can't go to Scotland; it's too far to get there and back in a day. But I get to Newcastle, back up there and back down in a day. So if that's what it takes. To be fair, I'll even do a London trip. One trip down to London and then dead by at home. I mean, that might be equally as likely option. But I quite like Hull because if you from there, well, there's not a lot of jobs. There's also not a lot of drivers. But also from there, you can go quite a long way north, south, or west. I don't really care where I end up in terms of getting home again. I've been so many times I have a 100-mile plus trip to get home that's dead. At first, I used to worry about that a bit because of the kind of prevailing kind of narrative on social media, but I really don't care. It's completely irrelevant to me how many miles I end up driving in a day, as long as I earn the right amount. And it's so freeing not having had that constraint on you. It was really difficult trying to fulfill only a certain amount in a certain amount of time and not having dead miles. It's like being in a straitjacket, and it's just not necessary. For some people, they will choose to work differently, and that's fine. For me, I feel a lot more comfortable just taking away the whole worry factor of dead miles. It is completely irrelevant to me, and I am a bit surprised as to how prevailing that message is, that that's so important. Maybe we should all question what we're told and what we know about things if it doesn't quite work for us. That's what I've learned from it anyway. Not to take what everyone else says as being gospel. Take what works for me, and I know it works for me, as being gospel. Although gospel's the wrong word, I would say. Accurate, useful, maybe better words. I'm not. Yeah. Right. See you later. Hello YouTube. Just a very quick update. I finished my delivery to Hull about 1:45. I then brought myself down to a local supermarket, which is where I am now. It's now 2:10. There's been 2 jobs in this area that I could have got to in the time I was here, neither of which the first one I didn't have time to bid on, it went. Second one I bid on but didn't get. It was a long distance job. It would have been a very long day if I got it. I would have been home about 11:30 tonight, but it'd be worth doing. And I'll stick up a map of who's around at the moment. There's not a lot of drivers in competition who are active. There's quite a few yellow drivers, isn't there, around? So that could mean anything. So the actual green drivers who are actively looking for jobs is very manageable. And so I feel like if a job comes up, I've got a good chance of getting it. For that reason, I'm going to give this place about an hour. So around about 3 o'clock-ish or 2:45, I shall make a move if I've got nothing. It does depend somewhat on how busy it gets. If it's absolutely dead, maybe I'll go a bit sooner. But if there are jobs that come up and I don't get them, I'll maybe stay a bit longer. I don't need a lot of money today, just need a little bit to get me somewhere towards home. I can't quite justify going straight home right now without getting another job. Obviously I'm in a bit of a remote location, but I think it should still offer an opportunity for some work. And if I don't get it, I'll head towards... I've got 2 choices really. Either go across the Humber towards Louth area, or go west towards Leeds. And I'm quite tempted to go towards Louth because there are evening jobs or afternoon jobs from Louth very often. So I would definitely get that job if I got there. So yeah, I'm going to take a risk and go to Louth if nothing comes up in the meantime. Right, I'll let you know how it goes, and I hope that you're all well. Cheers. Welcome to the Humber Bridge. Amazing value. It cost me £1.50 for each time I cross this bridge, which I find quite a pleasure to pay. I'd pay that for the view, although you can't see the view necessarily from here. I'm not going to turn you around, but believe me, it's a lovely view. Quite a brown looking estuary at the moment. Probably quite turbulent, I reckon. Anyway, I've got a job. Forget all that. I've got a job. I'm on my way from Hull to Gainsborough. I'm going to pick up a job, which I think is a small van job, going to Bury in near Manchester, and it's 88 loaded miles, and I'm getting £90 for it. I'll just double check if it is a small van job, and if it isn't, I'll put it up now what it actually is. So this job is all the money I need for today, and I'll just deadline at home, or hopefully I'll get the job that I sometimes get from Bury to Grimsby in the evenings. Now that really would be a nice end to my week. It would make my week an amazing week financially. It would make me having a long day, but I'm up for that today. So I'll let you know how it goes. I've got about 40 miles to get to Gainsborough. Oh yes, the other thing to say is when the CX job came up, it wanted to pick up at 3 o'clock, and I was never going to get there by 3 o'clock. The time now is 2:45, and I'm going to be there at more like 25 past 3. So I put a bid on anyway, and I thought, well, if they don't want me to, if it's really urgent, that's fair enough, I can't do the job. But quite quickly they called me and gave me the job, and just said they'd tell the customer I'll be there at past. So I think that's down to there being a lack of drivers either around Gainsborough or prepared to do the job to Bury, and I think that I feel it's a fair price for a job, and I'm pleased to do it. Yeah, so I'll keep you to date. Just got through quite a severe rainstorm, so it's past now, and I will. Well, yes, at the moment, gross wise, I'll be on 270 for the day, which means that net I would have made, if I just go straight home, I'll make about 210. So my average for the week, every day, will be £210, which makes me on 1,050 net, or thereabouts, for the week. So that's got to be the highest I've done for a long time. I mean, I don't want to over-egg the pudding. It's not that this is what you can always make. I've only made this the once because I've been sort of struggling to work 5 days a week. But it just appears that this time of year, so it's pre-Christmas, post-school holidays, and it appears this time of year might be the best chance for me to make some decent money after having had about a year of really in survival mode. Now obviously, again, another caveat, this won't last very long. At most this will last to mid-December, which will be 3.5 months, and I can't work for all of that time, so I'm certainly not getting carried away with this. All I'm doing is recognising that this week at least I've had a good week, I'm pleased about it, and it feels like I'm in control of my own destiny, which is all I ever want from my job, is to be in control of what I can earn. So all's good at the moment, and if I get that Bury to Grimsby job as well, whoa, big time bucks coming in. Anyway, you will be the first to know after my family and friends, and my editing software, and YouTube. To be honest, they get to know first. But after all those people, you'll get to know what happens. Right, YouTube, this is really tedious, I must say. I'm on the M62, crawling along, and my ETA has gone from 6 o'clock to 6:45. There's not really any shortcut. If I take the shortcut, which is this junction to my left, it keeps getting longer and shorter depending on how much traffic uses it. At the moment it's saying it's 4 minutes faster, but a moment ago it was 1 minute slower, and it's a lot longer into the distance. So I think it's everything for me to do is just stay in this lane and keep being patient. But this has been really tedious. It's going to make my day very long. I'm knackered as well now. Ah dear. What is there to say? I'm guessing it's an accident. It's going to take me 25 minutes to get through this. I've got 23 miles to go. Dear. Oh dear, so tedious. I might just go to that. I might just take that left-hand lane now, because at least I'm moving for a bit. It's so boring doing this. Anyway, and it's raining too. Anyway, I will let you know at the end of the day what happens. Cheers. Hello YouTube. So update time. It's now 6:40, and I've barely moved. I did come off the motorway in the end, the M62, at that junction 24, because I just felt that I had no guarantee that if I stayed on the motorway it would get any quicker, or even stay the same time. I've come off. I'm taking some back route, which is lovely, completely lovely countryside. I got stuck. I'm stuck currently in some roadworks, and I don't understand quite why I was so long here. It's really slow moving traffic. But anyway, the point is, my new ETA is 7:15, which is crazy. This will be the longest time that I've been late on a job. The only time I spent longer on a job was when I got to a drop-off place. I had to wait for 2 hours to be offloaded. And this is the second longest job that I've ever had to be involved with. When I get to the end of this road and turn left, it looks like the traffic is flowing reasonably clearly then. There's no other apparent delays. But I'm still 20 miles away from the drop-off in Bury. So hopefully, I don't know if you can see in your camera, right at the end there's a white van going up a hill, and then just at the top there's a junction about, I don't know, I can see it from me. Anyway, don't worry about it. So I wanted to just let you know that I've rung the shipper twice now. I rang him to say I was going to be there at about 6, and now I've rung him to say I'll be there at 7:15. And the point is, the place I go to is open all night. So from his point of view, it didn't matter at all that I was running late. I think he appreciated the phone call, but we've agreed now I'll just do it, and I'll just get myself there and just finish on CX rather than give them any more updates about me being later and later and later. So next thing to talk about is, I'm not going to do a stats verbally today, I'm too tired. What I am going to do though, which is a bit naughty, is I'm going to get a McDonald's on the way home to eat, because that'd be my treat for putting up with this journey. And it's not good for my weight, it's not good for my self-esteem, but it is good for my instant gratification. I also need fuel before I can get home. I've got 13 miles left to go on my thing. Actually, just realised I was above the number of miles, because I've been stuck in traffic with the engine on. It's gone down below the number of miles I've got left to go. So I've got 20 miles left to go, I've got 12 miles left in my tank. That would be just a nightmare if I had to run out of fuel. I should be fine because it gives me sort of 8 miles leeway to get there. And once I'm at the top of this hill, this mini hill, I don't know if you can see at the top there's cars going from right to left. So I'm very close to the junction now. So I think I'll be okay for diesel. I've just got to find a petrol station once I've delivered in Bury, but it's quite a big place, so I'm sure I will. I don't know if you saw that car. If you've got high definition, you might be able to see what the car driver did who came this way, just in front of that, just behind that red car that came out. He wasn't happy at all. Let me let this one out. Anyway, so I'm looking forward to my McDonald's, and I'm looking forward to get home. It's going to be, I don't know what time it's going to be. It's going to be so late. If I get off by 7:30, then I'm going to be something like 11, 11:30 before I get home. Maybe close to midnight actually. Which is, I'm glad it's Saturday tomorrow. I don't have to get up particularly early in the morning because I have to do my 9 hours dialysis. And if I'm not on there till midnight, that means I can't get off till 9 o'clock. Anyway, thank you for being there for me in these stressful times. And I shall do what I'll do is I'll let me finish the video now. So, thank you very much for sticking with me and watching this video. I will be putting on the stats over this endpoint of the day and the week. I've had a good week, I know that. Probably the best week I've had for over a year in terms of my net income. I'll probably double check that and let you know when the last time I made this many net a week. And I will be next week back on Monday. I haven't had a chance to book a job in for Monday because of this particular trip. And yeah, I hope that you are doing well. I hope you're being successful. That's 10 miles to go. Hope you're being successful. How do you define that word for yourselves? And I shall see you next week. Farewell, friends.